Hi, welcome to my craft room. Today we're going to be doing watercoloring 101 with blender pens, markers, watercolor paper, and a permanent ink. StazOn is the ink of choice. It's so great because the artist has already put your shadowing lines in here for you, so that takes all the guesswork out. This little whimsical snowman is from the set Snow Much Fun, and I just think it's adorable. So let's get going. Starting with the lightest color, Bashful Blue. I'm just scribbling this on a piece of plastic. This is from the Stamp Positioner, the clear sheet. Next, going from lightest to darkest, and I'm going to put a little bit of Tempting Turquoise here on the side because we'll be using that in a little bit. I just want to show you a trick. I've had this marker probably 6 or 7 years. I put a little bit of clear tape on the end of this so I would know which is my brush end. So our colors are Bashful Blue, Baja Breeze, and our darkest one is Marina Mist. First thing we're going to do though is we're going to take our blender pen and we're going right where all this shadowing is, and I'm just going to add a little bit of moisture to that, and I'm going to blend out from going all around my lines on my snowman. That moisture makes the ink glide so much easier. Doing the same thing to the head. And then my birds, my nose, my little bird down here on this snowball. So I'm ready to go. So let's pick up my first color. This is the Bashful Blue. Well, first of all, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down the Bashful Blue right onto my lines. Just work that right along there. Keep a light hand on the face. I'm going to add just a titch to my snowball. Okay, next, take my blender pen and begin to work that in a circular motion. I'm working this out. Okay, now I'm picking up a little of the Baja Breeze. I'm always working from my shadow lines, and I work that out, and by the time I get out, just a little bit out from that, most of that ink is off my brush, so I'm just gently moving that because this is watercolor paper. This will allow you to move this ink around. You would not get that same effect with working with cardstock as you will watercolor paper. Now we're going to begin to add a little bit of the Marina Mist. We want to add our darkest color. I'm starting where I want the most depth, and I'm being very, very light-handed with this. I don't want to overpower it. I'm going to add this around where the arm comes out, and then just begin to work it in ever so slightly. And right up here where the scarf is. And I think that looks pretty good. Taking my scrap of paper, clean this off. I don't want to have that overpower anything. Now I'm going to add a little bit of moisture to my scarf on my hat. And I'm going to use the So Saffron, and I'm going to add a light spot there. And I'll be doing my little dots as well on my scarf. I'll go over these a couple of times. This ink will absorb into this paper, and to keep it a nice vibrant color, I'm going to add 2 or 3 coats of that. Next, I'm now going to pick up a little of this Tempting Turquoise that I had added to the side, and I'm going to add this. And I can see right now that the blending pen is going to make that look green. So I'm going to go with the full strength. Being very careful to keep my So Saffron from being totally covered up. I think I'll also add just a little right at the face. Now, take your blender pen and just work that ever so slightly. I'm going to follow my lines that the artist has made for me. I just picked up a little of the Baja Breeze. Try to keep your fingers, once you begin to watercolor, keep your fingers off of your image. Because this is wet, it will get on your fingers and then smudge your work. Okay, I'm going with my darker color once again. Just making sure that I've got the depth that I'm looking for. Just a tiny bit here at the face. And I'm gradually working that out. Really gives a nice rounded effect. Okay, I have just laid down my yellow, my So Saffron for my birds and on my nose. And now I've also laid down my reds, and the colors are Poppy Parade, Rose Red, and Red Riding Hood. So I'm going to start with the lightest. Start back on my tail feathers and work towards the face. Going to the darker color, which is our Rose Red. Still staying away from the eye area. The eye is where you get your expressions, and you want to make sure that you don't have that too dark. I'm going to wipe off a little of that red onto my scrap of paper. Okay, our birds look pretty good. I just barely have moved a little bit of ink near their forehead. I want to keep that light. Okay, so next thing is our shoes. So let's get going on that. Picking up some of the Poppy Parade and just basically laying down a base coat here. Next, Rose Red. And remember, I said that it doesn't matter if I go out because I will be trimming this out. I'm not trying to be super careful for that reason. I want to leave a light area in my boots. Can you see that? Now I'm going to pick up some of our Riding Hood Red and kind of make a V right here where the foot curves in, so that that will really accent the indentation of the foot. Going along my end here. And I think that does it for our reds. Let's move on. Let's finish up our nose. This is the Poppy Parade. I'm going to go along the base of the nose. I'm leaving the top. That So Saffron covered the whole nose, and I'm leaving just that one color showing. And now I'm going to take the pumpkin pie and I'm going to just follow those lines that the artist has made for us. And the nose is done. Next, our hat. I've already laid a little of our black, and you want to kind of pull this out. You want to kind of water this down ever so slightly. And I'm going to work following these lines, and I'm going to work in towards the center where there are no lines. And I'm going to try to leave where there are no lines. I'm going to try to leave that fairly white, and it'll blend in, but I don't want any depth of color in there. Okay, and now I'm going to go on the outline of the hat. And that is done. Next will be our bits of coal for our buttons. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of the Marina Mist in with my black. Remember, don't put your fingers on your snowman. I've done that too many times and smudged. And voila. And it's done. The only thing we've got to do now is add a little bit of depth to our eyes. Oops, you know what I forgot is our brim. And for that, I am going to use the marker, the fine tip portion. And I'm just going to go right in and, because I want that dark that's on the underside. And go right across. Okay. Now the eyes. And I'm going to use a Sharpie Ultra Fine and turn that so you can see it really well. And you're just going to dot your bits of coal for the mouth, dot your bird's eyes, and you have it. And there it is. Next we'll be trimming this out, and next video will be creating a card to go with this.